Hello. I feel like it's been forever and ever since I have been here. So I get I get these 2-day migraines, which depending on when they start, so it's like 48 hours. So it could start like in the middle of one day and extend to the middle of another day, which then means it's taking up 4 days of space. Plus, if you've ever had a migraine, there's a migraine hangover, which it's like the pain isn't there, but you feel this, like, you feel where the pain was and you're just really tired from managing the pain. Anyway, this has started since I have been in like really true deep perimenopause. And it also comes with just this very depressive feeling. It comes with a lot of like stomach distress. So it's about 48 hours just of no fun. And it happens every month. I'm learning to prepare for it. I'm learning to let my family take care of me more. It is just, I did a lot of things this time to try to avoid it, to see if there was like any foods that might be causing it. But it does seem to be hormonal as my body is changing. So I know it's temporary. I know it won't be forever, and there is some solace in that. However, it means that I don't do a lot for those few days, and the house kind of got overrun. So my ex-husband, the kid's dad, sold the house that we had lived in together for a long time, and there was still some stuff there. So I have just like piles everywhere, like frames. I have one bucket of stuff. I got this area. I'm pretty committed to keeping my desk cleaned off. So I managed to still like get in there and spray the seedlings. I managed to just kind of stay like on top of things. It was so lucky. It coincided with a week that I was taking off in between my Sacred Roots winter circle and the Sacred Roots spring circle. So even though I would have liked to be kind of talking more about that and promoting that more, I just had to cocoon and start to feel better. So I'm going to be planting tomatoes today. I'm going to do my week 6 video probably this afternoon and post it tomorrow. And I thought I would just like walk around and just show you a few things, little like updates. And look, I'll show you my mess too, because isn't it important that we see that stuff too? I am not a naturally clean person. I've talked about that before. It is tough for me. Dave kept up with the kitchen beautifully, but everything else just kind of like, you know, I just pop around all day, and I'm just like, you know, like organize this, clean this, work on this, and I just wasn't able to do that. So, all right, let's just go walk around. I want to show you the fava beans, the toilet paper tubes. All right, before I show you the fava beans, look, this is my springtime table display. What could be more beautiful than sprouting potatoes? Some of these are like hurting, but these look really good. And these will go in grow bags probably in the next couple days, so that if we get another frost, I will be able to just move them into the garage. Look what Chloe made. Isn't that pretty? So this is north facing window, and my fava beans have done just great. They're probably a little leggy. Things are getting much cleaner in here. The table is almost cleared off. That dirt has to go in this grow bag for the potatoes. That's the old dirt that came out of the pots where I started seedlings, and that can just be added to the dirt that I'm going to use for the potatoes. I was vacuuming. The vacuum stopped working, so that's fun. Dave's got to get the compressor out of here. I've got to get that nightstand out of here. We threw that in there because we've been moving rooms. I think I've talked about that. And a few more jugs that I have that I can plant. And Delilah is just so happy to be back on her perch. And then I ordered all my seed starting bags at the, I don't know, in winter sometime. And I'm down to one bag. I've got a little bit of potting mix. I tend to put those together. I've got some perlite there and a few containers here. those baskets are going to go outside to start protecting things, and basically this whole thing will be cleaned up very soon. I threw the boxes out here to go to the garden, to the walkways. I just wasn't feeling well enough to actually get them to the garden, so you can see out there I have 2 tunnels now. I'm going to get a 3rd tunnel going, but we do have to figure out an alternative space for the chicken because they just can't be in that garden once I plant. Now these bulbs, these pods all have bulbs in them, but they're not getting enough sun, so I am worried about those, and I am gonna have to move those into the sun. We got the chip drop, which I will talk about. All right, let me put this back on the stand. I'll talk about that. But you can see there's some new mulch. Dave's been doing the mulch. Okay, there's my tub of dirt that I'm working with. I was writing down all the information about the tomatoes here, and because I'm planting so many different varieties, I'm actually going to start the tomatoes in the modules. I'm going to do maybe 2 to 3 seeds of each one, maybe 3 to 4. I don't know, 3. I'll do 3 because I'd like 2 of each kind of plant, unless there's one I want more of. But I'm trialing tomatoes this year, so that's why I'm starting them in modules rather than the broadcast sowing that I did for everything else, because there's just too many varieties. I finally got the table mostly cleared off. The drill is still here because I'm just finishing up the winter sowing. Chip drop. Well, we normally get our chips. Chip drop is a free service. You can also donate, like I always donate $20 to the place that brings them. It just feels right to my soul, but you don't have to. It's a free service. They work with arborists in your area. They're cutting down trees. They have a truckload of mulch. They'll bring it to you. So you just sign up at any point. You get a lot of wood chips. And usually the trucks will drive through the yard and drop the wood chips in this place over by the chicken coop. Well, it had rained and rained for days. Dave was not here. The chip drop people came, they know the spot, and he starts to drive across the yard, and I hear the wheels spinning, and it was literally like forever. Dave was on his way home. This guy is like trying to tie rope around the tire. He's putting mulch underneath wood. It was a mess, and I sadly did not get the moment when the truck got pulled out of the yard by another truck that came to rescue them. Dave tried with his truck to do it. Basically, they moved them. We decided just to drop the mulch to make the truck lighter. So then they raked the mulch so that there was a pathway for the truck to go through the mulch. They hooked up their truck, and they just that truck flew out of our yard. We have like huge tire mark holes all over the yard, but it is all fixable. It's such a blessing. I mean, that could be easily, I don't know, like $180 or so of mulch. And preferably I like it to sit and break down, but the pile that we have that's been breaking down over winter, that's gonna go to the garden. So that will go in the walkways. The more broken down your mulch is, the less nitrogen it will steal, and you don't want it stealing the nitrogen. So you let that break down and then you put it on. I'm not gonna worry about it with the places that we have just flowers. I typically don't fertilize, but I probably will because we're putting down these fresh wood chips. So I probably will do some sort of fertilizing. In general, I don't fertilize outside of using fish emulsion for things. Maybe a little bone meal here and there in potatoes, but for the most part we use compost, and what we want is for whatever we grow to then go back into the soil and feed the soil. So like in the winter, I didn't take anything out. I let all the roots stay in the soil, and anything I chopped off was just laid right back down on the soil. So it's, you don't want to be spending a ton of money on fertilizers. That's a lot. So the idea is to get everything working for itself. But because of these wood chips, I'm probably gonna do some fertilizing. We do a lot of things like using leaves, grass clippings. Pine needles are great. Like if you want to, like the pine needles that dropped over winter and kind of decomposed, I could take handfuls of those and go put them on plants that need more acidity, like my blueberries. So it's not great for some of the plants where the pine needles are actually dropping on them now, but if I move those away and I put leaves down for those plants instead, and then I can use those pine leaves and bring them to the acid-loving plants. So it's just really, I mean, isn't that cool? So you just kind of get to know. A lot of people grow nettle, and they use nettle, they rot it down with water in a bucket, and then that's what they use to fertilize. I don't currently grow nettle, but that is certainly my plan to add that in. So anyway, we got the mulch, but oh my goodness, was that an adventure. I was so stressed out. I didn't know what to do because Dave wasn't here. I don't speak Spanish, but luckily Eli does speak Spanish. Most of my kids do. And so I had him coming out to help me communicate with the driver of the truck who was delivering the mulch. And we ended up with like 6 or 7 guys here from the company all trying to rescue this truck. It was fun. I said to Dave, most people just get a chip drop. They just get their mulch and they don't remember it. We will remember our mulch. We will remember it. I have to say, after not feeling well for so many days, it is just like a blessing to feel better. And let's see, I don't know if you can see there's the wood chips right there. They just got dumped in the driveway. So yeah, it's just a blessing to feel better. So I am going to, I just finished taking notes on all my tomatoes, so I'm going to get that tomato video made for you. So I'm going to be doing the April tour soon. I just wanted you to see the bulbs coming up in the pots. I'm going to get some pansies and things like that because mine just aren't ready yet. It's just great to see them finally coming up. So this is full of frames. This is from my old house. So that needs to be dealt with because I like this corner to be clear. This is I grew this cilantro, and then when it went to flower and seed, I just cut it down and saved it over winter in a paper bag. And then I've been planting it by just going out and shaking the seeds everywhere. I did plant peas, and I went out and took some notes about my garden. So this can move to the sun porch. I do like to keep like a plant here every now and then. Like I rotate them because this is south facing and I get some sun here. So anyways, this is another thing. And then when I'm not feeling well, this table tends to get pretty cluttered and I don't like it. That's just the real deal of what's going on around here. Those are my boxes back there to go in to get collapsed. All the tape will come off and those will be part of putting down the cardboard in the walkways of the garden. So just for context of why I have a pile of boxes behind me. Okay, this is a problem. This is a problem. I was waiting to give my onions a haircut so I could do it on a video to talk about it, and I just went way too long. So hopefully everything is gonna be okay. We're gonna do a little haircut now. You can save these and eat them, so please do that. Okay. Phew. These will get some fish emulsion and hopefully they will get stronger and better. We're basically cutting that off so that the bulb can start to get the nutrition. So, you know, it's just a little haircut, and I should have done it regardless of a video or not. So there we go. I'm not really, you know, I'm not doing like a measurement or anything. I'm just getting them so that they will kind of stand back up for me. Be able to have a little more life. And I can always come back in and do this again if that doesn't seem to be good. You know, one of those things you might not know about that you just figure out along the way. giving your onions a haircut. Hi, honey. So it's just a little catch up, a little way to say hello and just connect back in, ground back in, a little touch point. Feeling better, taking it slow on the re-entry because it is so easy just to jump in and go all in, and I am not going to do that. I have learned my lesson. I'm 47 years old. I do not have to hustle anymore, so I will not. I'm gonna take some fish out of the freezer for dinner, probably make some rice pasta to go with it. I'll have to show you this in a different video, but I have an entire freezer filled with stuff. Greens, pesto, a lot of pesto, like a lot of just things that I just mushed up with olive oil, lemon, and put it in the freezer to get us through. But I've been just, I don't want to say there's a scarcity to it. It's just like when you've worked so hard to grow this food and preserve it, you can just be a little bit, I don't know, tender about using it. But like my garden is gonna start growing so soon, and I don't want a freezer full of food when I'm gonna have to preserve all the new food coming. So I am gonna start using that up. So maybe some pesto pasta to go with fish, and trying to think what else is lovely when you have fish. I don't know, maybe I'll make a sweet little dessert. I still have frozen plums down there. I've got a few frozen things fruit-wise. Maybe I can make like a little crumble. I haven't done that in a while. So I might be able to make a crumble. That would be a yummy thing to have. They love when I make, or Dave, I should say Dave. Dave loves it. I don't know if everybody loves it. He loves when I make a crumble and include it with the meal. It's just such a lovely thing for him to have a sweet thing inside of a meal. Anyway, I am babbling and I'm gonna be done now. Thank you for hanging on and being part of this re-entry with me. And I'm sending love to all your hearts. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.